Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, fine. Now let's start. Um, what is contract? An agreement enforceable by law is called as contract. Every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration of each other is called as an agreement. The agreement must create a legal obligations between the parties. This is what we discussed in the last session. Definition: contract, it is undertaking by the firm or person to do any work under certain terms and conditions. Contractor is the person or a firm who undertakes any type of the contract. Arranging the contract is nothing but the contract for a work is arranged by the inviting field tenders by using tender notices. Initial decisions. Site investigation should have revealed ground condition. Decisions will have been taken on the way design is to be carried out. A planning supervisor will have been appointed. Decision will have been taken on the breakdown of construction into different contract packages to suit capabilities of potential tenders for civil works, plants, suppliers, etc. Environmental studies will have been undertaken and requirement assets. Initial project program will have been produced to indicate the sequence of the construction. Financial planning will have been completed to ensure the funds will be available. And last one is the approvals, necessary approvals from the local authorities. Two types of the broad categories are there so far as the contracts are concerned. Price given in advance in contracts, that is what is called price based contracts. Cost reimbursement contracts, that is nothing but cost based contract. Types of contracts. So here we are having lump sum contract. Here we are having lump sum contract, lump sum and schedule contract. You can refer these all one by one. Schedule contract or item rate contract, labor contract, target contract, material plus contract. These are the only 6, but there are so many out of this. Piece work agreement, cost reimbursement contract, cost plus fixed fee contract, cost plus percentage contract, cost plus fluctuating fee contract, percentage rate contract. So depending upon different characteristics, we may have so many types of contracts. And this is what we have been discussed in our last session. So lump sum contract, sometimes called as turnkey, lump sum. The contractor agrees to perform a stipulated job of work in exchange of a fixed sum of the money. To complete it in all respects within a specified time for a fixed amount is called as lump sum contract. In the lump sum contract, payment may be staged at the intervals of time on the completion of milestones. So in stage by stage the payment will be done. Deposition of 10% security money is taken by the department so that if anything which is to be penalized later on can be recovered from the contractor. The contractor is responsible for preparing the bill of quantity, and on the completion of the work, no detailed measurements of the different items of the work is required because it is already available in the bill of quantity. Lower financial risk is to the employer, higher financial risk to the contractor, because 90% of things are very clear. What are the advantages of the lump sum contract? The final price is known by the owner before the work commences. The contractor has more incentive to reduce his cost to increase their profit. The contractor hopes to complete the job as quickly as possible to minimize overhead, to maximize profit, and to move to the next job. When the level of risk is low and quantifiable, when the client does not wish to be involved in the management of his contract, that can be accurately be completed, described at the time of building, such as residential and building construction, and it is adopted when the limited variation is needed. The disadvantage is changing drawings and specifications can be very expensive and source of trouble. So frequent changes always makes trouble for all. In other words, the contract has very limited flexibility for design changes. The contractor carries much of the risk, and the tendered price may include high risk contingency. So some things are there which contractor has to bear. Competent contractors may decide not to bid to avoid a high risk lump sum contract. So it is not advisable for them. Now second one is lump sum and schedule contract. What is this? In this type of contract, the schedule of rate is also provided in the contract agreement. So SOR is given. Measurement of extra items only shall have to taken. The original work is however be checked and compared. The contract however includes a fixed sum within a fixed time along with the detailed specifications and conditions and the schedule rates. Schedule contracts. What we have in schedule contract? The contractor undertakes the execution of the construction of a work on the item rate basis only. So this is what is called as schedule rate. The payment to the contractor is made by detailed measurement of different items of the work actually done by the contractor. So payment will be on the basis of actual measurement. The amount contractor receives depends upon the number of items of the work done. The number of items will decide the amount what he has to get it from the owner. The contract agreement includes quantities, rates, and amount of various items of the work. Here also 10% security money, penalty, these all are included in this. Item rate contract may also be a percentage above or below printed schedule of rate of the department. 10% plus or minus is always there. Use of repair and maintenance work or under conditions of urgency. So this type of contract is used. Item rate contract is used, if we be very specific, for the repair and maintenance type of work under the conditions of urgency only, right? Estimated quantities are surveyed by the architect or engineer. Contractor enter unit price against the estimated quantities of the work. Useful on projects where the nature of the work is well defined but the quantities of work cannot be accurately determined in advance of construction. It is suitable for the highways, dams, airports, etc. And that is why it is called as unit price contract also. Unit price contract also. Let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages. In this type of contract, there is fair basis for the competition. In comparing with lump sum contract, changes in contract documents can be made easily by the owner. Lower risk to the contractor and vice versa. That is higher risk to the owner. The exact final price of the project is not known to the owner until the completion of the project. Let us discuss the labor contract. So this is the most common type of the contract which is just carried out in the building, residential building industry. All materials for the constructions are arranged and supplied at the site of work by department or owner. If the work is being carried out by the government department, then they are writing department, or if it is getting executed privately, then it will be a owner. The labor contractor engages the labor and gets the work done according to specifications. The labor contractor engages the labor and gets work done according to the specification. He has not to do anything with material. He has to just focus on the labor or on the work, what he has to finish. The contractor is on item rate basis for labor portion only. Now what does it mean? Item rate means, let's say for an example, if we are hiring a labor contractor and to whom we are giving the labor contract, then for each and every item we are asking him for the unit rate. That, let's say for the excavation of foundation, what will be your labor per cubic meter? For laying the masonry work up to plinth, what is your labor? For masonry up to slab level, what is your labor rate per cubic meter? What is the labor of plastering per square meter? What is the labor of flooring for square meter? What is the labor of painting per square meter? What is the labor of woodwork per cubic meter? Like that. The contractor is paid for the quantities of work done on measurement of the different items of the work at the stipulated rate as in agreement. Contractor uses his own tool for working. Plant and machineries are provided by the department. Tools contractor has to use. Plant and machineries will be provided by the department. This system of contract is not generally adopted in the government works but preferable for the private sector. So private industry is adopting this kind of contract. Now next one is materials supply contract. What do we mean by that? In this form of contract, the contractors have to offer the rates for supply of the required quantities of materials, inclusive of the local taxes, carriage and delivery charges of materials to the specified site within the time fixed in the tender, and that is what is called as material supply contract. So the contractor have to offer the rates for supply of the required quantity of materials, inclusive of local taxes, carriage, delivery, charges of materials to the specified site within the time period. Let's say I want 10 bags of cement on my site. Example. Let us take one example. 10 bags of cement is required on my site, and if I am asking some material supplier, the cost of the brick cement bag is, let's say, 300 rupees, for example. And if I am asking that material supplier, and if I want to give him an contract to supply the material, then which rate he will be quote to me, because 300 rupees is the cost of the, what we can say, a bag of a cement. Of course, this 300 rupees is inclusive of, what you can say, taxes. If it is not included, then he has to add on that taxes, let's say 20 rupees or 30 rupees local taxes. Then he has to add 10 rupees, 20 rupees as the carriage and delivery charges. And then the rate what he is going to quote me will not be 300 rupees, but let's say 310 rupees or 320 rupees. Though the cement bag cost only 300 rupees, I have to bear 10 or 20 rupees more per cement bag because of inclusion of the all other types of expenses which is going to get occurred to carry that particular material from the source to my site. Cost plus contract. In this system, contractor is given certain percentage over the actual cost of the construction as his profit. Contractor arranges materials and labor at his own cost and keeps proper account. He is paid by the department by a profit of say 10% as his profit as agreed upon forend. So here cost plus percentage is such kind of contract, whereas very first the actual cost is being calculated and there is a deal between the owner and contractor that if we are doing this whole job with full enthusiasm, with quality, with a prescribed time frame, and ultimately if everything goes fine, then over and above the total of the cost of the construction, I am going to give you 10% extra profit, right? And under that deal, if the contractor finishes all these steps, then he is getting 10% as his profit, and that is how these kind of contracts are called as cost plus contract. What is the advantage of this kind of contract? Construction can start before design is completed. There is no need to wait for the design. We can start making a job. Let the design should come later on. If the contractor is efficient in the utilization of the resources, then the cost of the client should represent a fair price for the work undertaken. If the contractor is efficient in utilizing the resources, then the cost to the client should represent fair price of the work undertaken. So that all depends on the contractor himself, how it utilize the resources. If he is utilizing the resources optimistically, of course the cost can be optimized. Disadvantages. Now what is the disadvantage? Everything is having two types of stuff, either advantage and disadvantage both. So the project total cost is completely unknown before the project starts. So it is but obvious. Secondly, because of what actual cost the contractor is going to get 10% of his profit. So ultimately we are not knowing what exactly the cost of work is going to. Owner must experience tight cost control, which may be difficult and or costly. There is complete cost control on the things and it becomes costly. Minimum efficiency maximizes the profit. Minimum efficiency maximizes the profit. These are the disadvantages for this type of contract. So one more type of contract is cost plus fixed fee contract. What is that? In this type of contract, the contractor is paid by the owner an agreed lump sum amount over and above the actual cost of the work. Once again, let us read. In this type of contract, the contractor is paid by the owner an agreed lump sum amount over and above the actual cost of the work. So, cost plus fixed fee contract. The contractor will say, let's say if we are giving the job that okay, my construction of my extension of first floor, for the same we are asking him to make the estimate, and the contractor gives the estimate of let's say 5 lakh rupees. Then what contractor will ask to the owner that over and above this 5 lakh rupees, I am going to charge let's say 50,000 rupees as say my profit and it is being agreed upon both the parties, right? Only the difference in cost plus percentage, instead of fixed percentage, fixed amount is what you can say finalized between two parties. Cost plus fluctuating fee contract. In this type of contract, the contractor is paid by the owner the actual cost of the construction plus an amount of fee inversely variable according to the increase or decrease of the estimated cost agreed first by both the parties. The means is this meaning fluctuating fee contract. So depending upon increasing and decreasing increase or decrease of the estimate, that inversely proportionate amount is to be paid to the contractor. This terms and condition is predefined at the time of contract itself, and that is how it is called as cost plus fluctuating fee contract. Now let us discuss the factors influencing the choice of the type of the contract. Now, what are the factors which are influencing the choice of the type of the contract? First one is the appropriateness for providing an adequate incentive for efficient performance by the contractor. So what is the what you can say incentive a contractor will have for doing his job sincerely in terms of quality and quantity? So that matters a lot, that which type of contract has to be finalized. Second one is the ability to introduce changes. What is the readiness of the contractor or readiness in the owner to introduce the changes? The allocation of risk. How much risk is there in the job? It will decide the kind of contract. If it is high risk job, a contractor may ask for what you can say handsome amount of profit. The start and completion date of the project. Whether your contract period is rigid or flexible. If it is rigid, then what we can say, if it is rigid, then contractor may ask more what you can say quotation of the work. If it is flexible, the terms and conditions of the contract might be light enough. Now, as if we say, what is the contract document? What does it mean by? If it is a contract, the way how we have seen in the tender or tender document, that what are the stuff which is required. Similarly, here the contractor document includes some of the things. We'll listing over here and let's say discussing the same over here. Title page, name of work, contract, bond, etc. Index page, content of agreement with pages, page references. Tender notice, giving brief description of work, etc. Usually 2% of the estimated cost deposit is deposited along with tender. Tender form, contractor's rate and time of completion, penalty clause, etc. Bill of quantity, it is what obvious, it is main part. Giving quantities and rate of each item of work and the total cost of the whole work. Schedule of issue of materials, giving list of materials to be issued to the contractor with rates and place of issues. General specifications, regarding the class and type of the work, which type of work exactly has to be carried out by the contractor. Detailed specification in addition to that, each type of item of work and of each material to be used in the work, type of work, which material of the work, and Here method is missing, but yes, a specific method is also mentioned in the detailed specification to carry out a particular item of work. Drawings. A complete set of drawings like plan, elevation, section, site plan, etc. of fully dimensioned has to be provided while finalizing any contract. And the last topic of our today's presentation is conditions of contract. So what are the conditions of contract? Rates inclusive of materials, labors, etc. So in any type of contract, whatever the rates which one has to quote up, that must be inclusive of rate of materials and rate of contract. Second thing is amount of security deposit. Amount of security deposit. Time for completion of work. These all are the things which must be there in the contract document. Progress to be maintained. In which phase, which stage, what level of work must have finished, right? 5%, 10%, 15%, 30%, 50%, 80%, and 100%. Stages. Penalty for bad work. If any case, as and when, if contractor makes something wrong with the work due to any of the reason, then which kind of provision is there to apply the penalty on the contractor. Then mode of payment, how the payment will be done, either stage wise or phase wise or any other time breakup formation. Next one is termination of contract. In which specific terms and conditions a contract will be terminated if owner goes for some extreme situations, or if the contractor go for some extreme wrong things. Which are that things which, what we can say, decides that now a contractor may no longer be continued between both the parties. Compensation to the labor, minimum wages, etc. So while giving contract to any contractor or labor contractor or builder, the compensation to the labor and minimum wages are to be very clear. So what we can say, it must be in black and white, that owner will ask that contractor is not going to use the child labor, either if he is using the male and female labor, skilled unskilled labor, then he has to give them a proper, what we can say, labor charges according to the laws, labor laws. Even he has to carry out their insurance and all. So that has to be given that consent from the contractor to the owner that he is going to follow all the labor laws, right? So that once the work will start, there must not be a kind of dispute that due to lower amount of payment than the market rate, the laborers are leaving the sites, and ultimately there might be a delay in the completion of the project. So this parameter is also to be considered while making the contract between the contractor and owner. So the questions are welcome, and thank you everyone for attending this Session.